So, with the NBA All Star game just wrapping up, a lot of people on Twitter, including myself, started thinking about the NFL Pro Bowl. Now, the NFL Pro Bowl has been in decline for a very, very long time. Especially you look at this past year, like guys weren't even getting touched and the referees were blowing plays dead. Nobody was really doing anything in these games, and nothing was of interest was really happening in these Pro Bowl games. Like you have like fun moments, but it has nothing to pertain to football. Like you have obviously this year with Mac Jones, what he did, like that took the internet over by storm. Like it took over the internet basically. Is what I'm trying to say. And you look at the NBA All-Star game, well, they don't really play defense for the first 3 quarters of the game. There's a huge incentive at the end of the game to try to win it. There's incentives already because they have a charity aspect built into the game. For the team that wins each quarter, they get to donate to charity. And if it's a tie, they split, and then each team donates to charity. And I think that's a really awesome way to, to incentivize playing a little bit harder in the NBA All-Star game. Now, and then obviously you have the end of the game where you have a set goal. It's basically a pickup game at that point. You have a goal, I think it was this year, of 163 points. First one to 163, they win the All-Star game, which I think is a really fun, great format because it incentivizes fun for the first few quarters while still having the charity aspect to it. But then it just full on advocates for you to try to win the game at the end of it. You go all out and you get to truly see. Now, obviously, it's not as intense on the court as you would during a normal regular season game and especially a playoff game, NBA Finals game. But you still get to see what it's like to see like LeBron James, Steph Curry on the same team, Lonzo Ball, these young guys all on the same team, like DeMar DeRozan. You get to see all these guys all on the same team and see what it's kind of like to watch all these guys play together, which is kind of the point of the All-Star game. So the NBA All-Star game has one of the better formats in my opinion because you actually get to see what it's like for some of these guys to get to play with each other, like Ja Morant, like being able to take over that game with some insane plays. Like there's a lot of ways the NBA All-Star game is a lot better than the NFL Pro Bowl. And that just that brought up the question, is there a way to ever fix the NFL Pro Bowl? Now, before we get into that question, the reason why this kind of sparked my interest in making this video is I'll put the tweet up here on screen. Tyler Lockett of the Seahawks, he tweeted out, "I think it'd be dope if the NFL Pro Bowl implemented the same thing as the NBA All-Star game. 2 charities will be awarded $10K each quarter based off of who wins the quarter." Now, on paper, that sounds amazing. It would incentivize guys to play better each quarter, and it can make the rotation of guys even better. So, you could truly have, one first quarter, this guy starts. Like for the AFC this year, you got to have Mac Jones start a quarter, Justin Herbert start a quarter, Patrick Mahomes start a quarter. I know there's 4 quarters in a game, but then that fourth quarter could just be like an overtime thing. They can test out overtime rules in that fourth quarter. That's an idea too. That just popped in my head. I think that would be a really fun idea. You could test some overtime rules if you wanted to in the fourth quarter of the Pro Bowl instead of actually playing out the game. Because obviously, as the game went on, nobody wanted to watch the Pro Bowl at that time. So Tyler Lockett's tweet I thought was kind of interesting. But then you look deeper into the question. These guys just played 18 weeks of football, plus training camp, plus all their off-season workouts. They want a break from the game. So you're not going to get guys playing 100% in these games. And yes, while it's literally two-hand touch with guys wearing helmets on their heads during the Pro Bowl, these guys, they don't want to get hurt. Like I said, they're playing a grueling schedule. And some of these guys, like the Chiefs, were just coming off a brutal loss the week before. They weren't even emotionally invested in that game. Like Mahomes looked like he didn't want to be there. And I know on this channel, I just, go straight to the Chiefs. Why not? It's my team. I'm going to compare everything to them because because it's fun that way. Looking at sports through the lens of a team is a lot better. But like if you look at the Pro Bowl, I don't think there's a way to truly implement what Tyler Lockett said. I love the idea. I think it would be fantastic. And I think it would incentivize guys to play a little bit harder. But then the other side of it, these guys, again, they don't want to get hurt. And if some of these guys, especially if they're about to make a lot of money and their contracts are coming up and, they're trying to stay healthy, have a hard off season of workouts, trying to get that huge contract that they want. The last thing they want to do is go to a pointless Pro Bowl and get hurt in it. So that's not what they want to do, because it's basically an exhibition game. It's a fun exhibition game that you get to see your favorite guys throw. Like Mahomes, I got to see him throw to some guys that we would never get to see. That, just the idea of that alone is fun. Now, obviously, it stinks because nobody's actually trying, but the dream scenarios are there, and that's always going to be fun. But I do think Tyler Lockett's premise does have a little bit of weight to it, and I think there's a way to do it. Because the NFL, because the NBA Skills Challenge, it seems like they put a lot of work into it. Now, it's gimmicky. You look at the dunk contest this year. The dunk contest was one of the worst things I've ever watched, and actually sat through the whole thing. I know I'm complaining. I sat through it, yes, but that was terrible television. It was so bad that you just couldn't take your eyes off of it. That's what that was. But then you look at, the 3-point contest. You look at Steph in the All-Star game, he kind of showed why the 3-point contest needs to be the final thing of the All-Star weekend. Like, the 3-point shot is way better than a dunk, because dunks that happen in game are honestly better than anything that can happen in a dunk contest, because there's no creativity that you can really do anymore. Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon just broke the NBA dunk contest. Like, you're never going to go back. Like, that competition's dead. So I think, and the NBA does put a lot of work into their skills competition. So I think what the NFL could do, and they could still keep the charity aspect, they could put a little bit more into their skills competition, because it's like an hour pre-recorded on ESPN that's really badly edited that, like, let's be honest, it's not very interesting to watch. Now, the dodgeball competition's a lot of fun. So there is ways to do it. So you have the precision passing, thread the needle, best catch, fastest man in the dodgeball tournament. But I think if they really wanted to, what they could do instead of, because they're still going to play the game, because a Pro Bowl, it's still going to generate the NFL money, and if it generates them money, they're going to do it, which I have no issue with. Make money where you can. But at the same time, a game that nobody wants to play in, but you still want to donate to charity, put more incentives on the skills challenges. Don't just highlight just the quarterbacks or the receivers or that really, really good defensive back. They should put more time into the skills challenges. And not just, like I said, don't just do the wide receivers, don't just do the quarterbacks. Have a skills challenge with every single position on the field. Like, you could have something with the special teams returners too. Have a little bit of fun with that. Have a competition with the punters, with the kickers. Because seeing Justin Tucker hit 67-yard field goals, in a Pro Bowl skills competition, that seems like a lot of fun to watch. That's kind of like a 3-point competition. Have kickers go, start out with a 20-yard field goal and just work their way back. That would be a fun competition. Like, the best catch for receivers, I still think that would be a lot of fun to do. The precision passing for the quarterbacks, that's a lot of fun to do. I think there's a way to and then you have 2 teams, so then you can implement the charity aspect of it. So I think if the NFL put a little bit more time into the skills competition, I think that would fix the Pro Bowl weekend just a little bit more, because the fact that the skills competition just kind of feels like an afterthought to the actual game, when the actual game itself is really bad. I don't think it doesn't interest fans to really watch it anymore. There's people that haven't watched the Pro Bowl in 20 years. There's people that just complain like I do about the Pro Bowl. And then you have the skills competition, which is really good. It's a really good premise, but poorly executed, because it just seems like an afterthought. But I think there's a way to fix the Pro Bowl weekend, and I think there is a way that you can implement charity into it. Now, the actual game, like I said, you're not going to be able to do that with the actual game. That's not possible, because they don't want to get hurt, because football is way more physical than the NBA, and it's not even close, because you can play a little bit of defense in the NBA All-Star game and you're not going to get anybody hurt. Whereas in the NFL, you can play just a tad bit of defense and somebody gets hurt, and you don't even play any defense. And you look what happened to Odell in the Super Bowl, and somebody just gets hurt. Like, yes, obviously he's running full speed on a route, but what I'm getting at is the NFL seems to be it's obviously a more dangerous sport than the NBA. But I think to fix the Pro Bowl, just put more incentives on the skills competition. Put a little bit more thought into the skills competition. And I think personally that would make the weekend more interesting. Put that on a Saturday night if they wanted to, the Sunday before the Pro Bowl. See how that goes. I think that would be a lot of fun. But that's just my ideas on how to fix the Super Bowl, and including this tweet with Tyler Lockett. Because I think there is a lot of fun ways that the NFL Pro Bowl can still be fun, but not necessarily be a eyesore of watching the actual game. Give me your thoughts down below of what you think could be done to fix the NFL Pro Bowl, and I'll see you in the next one.